You're watching America's Voice live on a Thursday. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us here at Real America's Voice. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer held an ill-fated vote in the Senate to end the filibuster yesterday. It was by design, let's be honest, but it failed like everyone knew it would. It failed 52-48. The Democrats keep trying to put pressure on two of their own, Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, for refusing to blow up the American system of governance, threatening them in all sorts of ways. Here to discuss it is Lindsey Curnutte, press secretary for Heritage Action for America. Lindsey, good to have you back.
Great.
I don't think Chuck Schumer's done. Great to have you. I don't think Chuck's done. I don't. I mean, they're going to continue to press and prod and persuade and push and offer all sorts of piles of goodies to both Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. I mean, I don't for a second think they're done trying to get this scheme through. Do you?
I mean, they're trying their hardest. This is all about power for them. This nuking the filibuster, these election bills that are going to give tons of power, taking it away from the states, handing it to D.C. This is about keeping themselves in office and continuing that liberal agenda. So they're nuking the filibuster. That's what they're trying to do. Thankfully, there are some people with common sense in the Senate that say, hey, we don't want to throw out 200 years of Senate tradition just so you guys can pass your liberal agenda just in the short term. Because the funny thing is they're not thinking about what's going to happen when the shoe's on the other foot. Republicans are able to do the same thing when we're back in power as well. It's hard to say if we would, but that's the other thing as well. So it's all about short-term power from them now, but long-term will have disastrous impacts, of course.
It just seems odd to me, Lindsey. I mean, Harry Reid, the former majority speaker, a majority leader for the Democrats in the U.S. Senate, he used the nuclear option. They went there, and then suddenly they're all complaining about it because Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell were able to push through lots of judges and lots of positions. The Democrats did it to themselves. So there you have Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema saying, slow down, guys, because if we do this, they're going to be in charge at some point, and they'll do the same thing, and it will destroy the United States Senate. It's falling on deaf ears, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But there are a lot of these so-called moderate senators that are in the ears of Sinema and Manchin, like you said. So they definitely are feeling the sway here. They're saying that they are not going to be nuking the filibuster for now. But Manchin previously has says that he's open to some sort of reforms to the filibuster. So make no mistake, anytime they're talking about reforms to the filibuster, it will completely nuke the filibuster. It will take power of millions of Americans from the Senate and in the Senate, the power that they have now, and it'll turn this into a 50-50 vote, whichever party is in the majority wins. So it'll be just like the House. The filibuster is really our last line of defense right now against the Biden agenda.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, we mentioned this in the break before we came back on. Do you have a list of the people that are being denied voting rights in America? Because I'm confused, because they say we have to do this because we've got to get this voting rights bill pushed through, because otherwise, we'll not be able to have fair elections. What happens in here is they get to clean voter rolls. The people that are deceased are no longer on voter rolls. Voter ID, which is supported by the vast majority of Americans, including 78% of black Americans, the largest ethnic group that supports voter ID, black Americans, the ones they say they're trying to protect. And so to me, it's like completely disingenuous. And I come back to what you say, Lindsey, it's all about power. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, it definitely is. But they're scared of what Republicans are doing in the state legislatures right now. Many states, Texas, Georgia, Florida, are saying, hey, we want to make sure our citizens feel secure in their vote. We want to pass common sense reforms like voter ID. We want to ban ballot harvesting, just a ton of really important bills that will secure elections. But instead, they're kind of on defense. These Democrats in D.C., they see what's going on in the states, and they're running scared. So these efforts in the states are what's really important right now. Heritage Action is all over this. We have a website, Save Our Elections, where you can learn how different states are doing on election reforms and how you can make sure that your vote's secured in the 2022 election.
Yeah, greatly appreciated. And it's so important. We say this a lot, but it could be the most important election of our lives. I think that's actually true this time. Lindsey, thank you for being here as always.
Thanks for having me.
Greatly appreciate it. Now, after the break,